We'll get through this here. And it's been a while since we've done a live one. Hey, hello. Good to be with you. Hey, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. So if you want to watch us on the big screen, let's do it. I wanted to try to get the chat up here. Might be a little difficult, but we will do our best. I thought I had this here for a second, but I guess I don't. So, how's everybody doing? Happy Friday. We'll do a few of these this week. Let's get this logged in. I don't know if that's going to work or not. I don't think it is. All right. See if we get anybody on here. We got some people here. What's up? Let me know where you're watching from. This is live, so welcome aboard. Mine is on a big delay right now, so big delay. Okay. Charity, Matt, what's up? Good to have you aboard. Good to see you guys. There we go. All right, hang tight. I'm trying to get my chat. Wim wanted to go ahead and just do this, so think that might do it. So that way I can have my chat on this screen and I can have all my weather stuff on this screen. And once upon a time I had it set up this way. It's been a while since I've done a Facebook Live though. So let's see. All right, so let's pop that out there. And I want my comments. All right, so I don't want to waste too much time because I know you guys have stuff going on. So Facebook chat. See if it'll plop that in there for me. Ha! We're good. Okay. We're living. Okay. I am also on YouTube. I'm not checking that one as much, but I do want to kind of go over and yeah, let me know where you're watching from. If you guys got questions for me, shoot them in the comments. Be aware that this is very delayed for the as terms of the me recording this and then seeing your chat. Okay, so just because I don't answer it immediately when you type in doesn't mean that I haven't seen it. It looks like it's like over a minute delay right now. It could be worse. Okay, so let's go ahead and just kind of walk through this here. And hey, also, those of you that are watching, I always appreciate the likes and the shares. Okay, so if you can give me a like, you can give me a share. It goes a long way. So let's just start here. Because there have been some changes since we looked at some stuff this morning. I'm going to explain why, okay? And also lead to, I want to stress, this is not a final forecast by any means, okay? Because we are still 48 hours away from any like real heavy duty snow even starting to fly. Okay, so let's start. What you're looking at now, those are the active winter storm watches that the Weather Service, they issued those last night. They go into effect for Sunday and Monday. Now, they will not continue as is. At some point, those watches will get upgraded to either winter weather advisories or winter storm warnings, okay? We're already starting to see that if you look nationwide in parts of Kansas. In the purple there, you've got winter weather advisories. In the pink, you've got winter storm warnings. And then obviously you've got a long stretch of blue. It basically is just following I-70. Okay? So there is that currently. Oh, I think I just lost my comments. Oh, okay, we're good. We're good. I don't know why it won't let me dock this, but no worries. It's okay. All right. I can see all of your comments. Hey, thanks everybody for checking in. I see all of you. Connorsville, Indianapolis, Bloomington, Moreland, did I say that right? Muncie, Mooresville, Shelbyville. I see all you guys. Thank you. Greensburg, Edinburgh. All right. So here's some things that have changed. Okay. And I'll show you my snowfall accumulations here in a second that I did this morning. So what you're looking at is a big map, right? And so here is your big winter storm. And you guys can't see it because up here, this is what's called in Zulu time, all right? But if you do the math, this takes us all the way to Sunday at 10 a.m. right here. Not snowing yet by Sunday at 10 a.m. 1 p.m., 4 p.m. on Sunday, 7 p.m. on Sunday, 10 p.m. on Sunday. You're getting an idea. What has happened in the more recent model projections is that the track is going a little bit farther south. So what exactly does that mean? Well, with the trend going south, it could push the heavier snow swaths farther south. It most definitely pushes the ice accumulation much farther south. Okay? Now, is that a final solution? Not necessarily. The trend has been to scoot this south. But like that, this is the European model. Okay? There are a couple of models that we look at the very same time frame. You're going to have to look carefully. Let me do this. All right. Now you guys are going to have to pay attention here. But okay, that's a zoomed in view. That is the GFS. So what do you see here? You see some heavy snow. This would be Sunday at 10 p.m. Heavy snow in Indianapolis, sleet and freezing rain in southern Indiana. That's the GFS. That's the American model. If I flip it back over to the European, look what happens. It's moved the heavier snow, the ice, and the sleet farther south. So, with that said, with that trend going south, we've kind of seen that going on several model runs. All right. I still think, and this is why I always say, don't get caught up in the numbers. It is so easy, especially in the days of social media, when you have people that don't know necessarily either one, how to explain very well about what models are saying, or two, they just don't care and they don't know what they're talking about. We've seen how many days now has it been that we were going to get, I think there were some projections that showed like 20 plus inches. Guys, that'd be a record. Okay. I mean, listen, records were meant to be broken, but you've got to use logic. And when people are throwing stuff out that early, you got to think first. I think the most important thing to keep in mind here is that we use high resolution models to really kind of fine tune the forecast. Okay. And those aren't even within reach yet of this storm. And so they can't go far enough out because this is going to be Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, and Monday morning, which is where, that's where the brunt of the storm is going to go. Okay. So I know I'm ranting a little bit, but the reason why is because I want you to see why I will continue to say that this forecast is continuing to evolve. Even with what I'm saying now, it's not set in stone. Forecasts are not meant to be set in stone until you get right up on it. Things are going to change. So this is what I posted for this morning, okay? And I know it's a wide range, but now looking at this, my gut tells me I need to move that farther south, okay? 5 to 10. And I think another thing for me to say is, it's easy for us to look at the high end and not as much the low end. But I think, when you're probably at the, you're talking 10, I think that's going to be more of a rarity. All right. I think a lot of those areas in purple probably get up to around 5. I think 6 inches is still within grasp around the metro area, but I don't know if it'll be quite as far north as what I was initially thinking this morning. Okay. This is just me thinking out loud. But again, I mean, I'm not going to go in here and make another map because there will be new data that comes in probably around dinner time. And I may do another Facebook Live around then, and we'll see what the models do there. Could those models lift up north? Again, I'm complaining because I'm saying, hey, the snow is moving south, and so are the models. And so a lot of the people that posted the high numbers are out to lunch. Sometimes these models will then overcorrect and they'll come back a little bit. I've seen it happen a lot. So this still could be a good map. I don't feel bad enough that I need to make wholesale changes yet. Okay. What I will say is, and this is why I put this in the post when I sent this out, don't get super hung up in the numbers. I think what's more important is the timing of when everything goes down. It's all about impact, right? How is this going to impact your life? Even 2 or 3 inches on a Saturday afternoon coming down like crazy, if you have errands to run or your kids have practices and stuff like that, that's going to be impactful, right? That's going to be impactful for you. Think about what happened here in the city. What was that? It was several Mondays ago. It was like at the beginning of December, right? You guys remember? We didn't even get a half inch of snow in Indianapolis, and it was gridlock for the drive. So I try to stress impact here. I think, with this being on the weekend, it makes it a little bit easier to take it on because you're not going to have the volume that you would on a workday. Now, my concern would be, and I have the timetable here for you, my concern would be, is the, if the snow hangs on into Monday morning's commute. I saw somebody say, what about the schools? Everybody's going back to school on Monday. I know some already went back. Mine aren't back until Monday. I know a lot of school systems aren't back until Monday. And that it may end up being a close call on the timing, okay? So yeah. Those are just my initial thoughts. The Weather Service has seen this trend, by the way, and so that's the updated map from the National Weather Service. Man, I see a lot of you in here. I love it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you for hanging out. So if you looked at this map, again, this is the official National Weather Service forecast. Just so, you don't have to take my word for it. They moved the area in yellow, which is basically 5 to 10, farther south. It was much farther north, even more north than what I had. And then it's moving the heavier swath down south. And I mean, there's still some thinking that there could be some areas that get in the double digits, the 10s, the 11s, maybe a foot. I think those would be a little bit more isolated. All right. But again, as I'm showing you guys these numbers, okay, this is the the National Weather Service forecast. We'll go back to mine. And again, I made this at, 3:00 this morning. So there's been some new information that's come up that if I had to do it over again, it would come down a little bit to the south. But again, we'll wait because, again, I saw somebody saying, hey, forecast is just to let you know. That's correct. Because this is going to fluctuate a little bit. But I also think that there's a fine line when it comes to forecasting. Giving people a heads up about an impending winter storm is one thing. Throwing out wild numbers that would be record breaking is not what I would call forecasting. So, That's the world we live in. I can't control that, but I think I have to address it. We live in an era where, because it goes around so much. I mean, there's pages that I don't even follow on Facebook. And it just was like, I kept scrolling, and it was just, all I saw was just these wild, wild numbers. It's interesting. The new European models that came out, I'm not seeing social media people posting those. And the reason why is because the most recent runs, and I'm only using this as an example, but the most recent runs are only showing like 2 to 4 inches of snowfall in Indianapolis. That's not going to sell clicks. That's not going to give you likes. So again, buyer beware when it comes to that kind of stuff, right? I think the important thing to note is National Weather Service doesn't get paid for you to look at their content. I don't get paid extra for you to look at my content. My paycheck comes from the television station. It doesn't come by clicks of what I throw on social media. So, all right. Let's get to questions. I think I've ranted long enough. Let's see. What the times hitting the metro area? I'm going to be at the Colts game and back to Columbus when done. So Colts game, I think you're probably okay if you're going out to lunch before. I don't know much about Ryan Hall. Here's what I do know is he's not local. I don't know what his background is. I know that I get tagged in a lot of stuff that he does and whatever. Again, I can't control what other people are going to do. But, I have one focus, and that is Central Indiana. I don't worry about other things. And to that extent, it's great that I have a lot of you that are on this Facebook Live, and you've shared it, and you've liked it. I'm not getting anything extra for it. I'm doing this because I'm off work for the day. I do this because I love it. My paycheck is, I earn my paycheck for the day. That happened between the hours of 2 a.m. and 11 a.m. So, some things just to consider, okay? Doesn't mean I'm right. Forecasting's hard. It's imperfect, right? So, but again, it's just like people get worried, scared, or excited because people like big snows. And, when you start talking about a storm system this was on people's Facebook pages over a week ago. It's silliness. So anyway, so that is, Jim, I think I just explained it. If you want to go back, I know it's live, so I don't know, but I think a lot of people are probably sick of me ranting. But basically, Jim, because we're still 48 hours out from the event, we're doing the best we can with the info that we have. Okay. So that's why you have, some differences in the forecasting. Everybody forecasts different. Let's see. It would be a, KK. Do you think it's going to be a heavy snow, and could we possibly lose power? Yeah, it'll be a heavy snow because I think the moisture content, you're going to be kind of in the upper 20s, low 30s. I don't think it'll be kind of the fine powdery snow. In terms of power outages, maybe we're going to have wind gusts around 30 to 35. And I think that's another thing that I really haven't focused on is, wind gusts 30 to 35 Sunday night into Monday. That's going to give some whiteout conditions. So again, it's easy to get hung up on the numbers here, and I think I've said this before, I probably get graded on the number, fair or unfair. But my stress is always impact. And again, go back to early December when we had that Monday where we had like a quarter of an inch of snow and no one could drive in it in the metro area. That was high impact, right? It was a high impact in a very low event. Didn't even get a half an inch of snow, and it was chaos on the roads. So, I mean, even if we only had 2 or 3 inches and you've got winds 35 miles per hour, it has the potential of being a high impact event. So, Christian, could this shift north? Absolutely. It has been trending south. It has been trending south. But it does not mean, I mean, like I said, we've got 48 hours. We got 48 hours that the models are going to correct. The thing you got to keep in mind here, guys, is that this storm is not even on shore yet. It is in the Pacific Ocean. It's not even in the United States yet. So there is still a long way for this to travel. There's a lot that can happen, okay? And a lot that can change. Which is why, I mean, I'll be on. I have 0 plans. I have church this weekend, and I think that's it. I'm hanging out with the kids and my wife, and I'm just going to enjoy all this, right? So I'm sure at some point I'll have to go in a little bit earlier on Sunday if this does become, problematic for team coverage. And I'm happy to do it. That's part of the job. That's what I signed up for. But yeah, I'll be here jumping on Facebook Lives with you guys. So, what's the timeline for it to start? Dennis, and Melanie, Sunday morning, and it's listed there below. I don't know if you can read it very well. But Sunday morning, I have kind of the snow starting, but Sunday after lunchtime, and then Sunday night and Monday, is kind of Monday morning is kind of my time frame. Aaron, school delays, tough to gauge. I mean, it's way too far out. I just went on a rant about how these numbers are going to fluctuate a million times probably between now and the event starting on Sunday. So I have tough enough time predicting snowfall events. I don't even want to try predicting, who's going to delay and whatnot. So, what I said earlier is with the timeline, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, Sunday overnight, if we could get snow to end early enough on Monday morning, maybe it gives some of the city crews enough time to clear off some roads if we get a really good thump of snow. But the problem is then it's still windy. You're blowing that snow up and all that other stuff. So tough to say. I'd say it's possible though, right? I'm not going to say no. So Patty, it's Patty. I can't stress this enough. I saw you message Ashley's thing again. You cannot be sold on forecasts. Like I don't care if I was, and I'm not, but I don't care if I was the best meteorologist in the world. Nobody can predict accurately with 100%, 48 plus hours out, a snow event. It's going to change. And I think maybe we do, as a meteorologist, we do a bad job of explaining that when we throw a forecast out, that's it. And this is what we need to be judged on. It's going to change significantly. I try to give you a broad brush of what my general thinking was at the time, which that was when I made this, it was at 3:00 this morning. There's been a new set of data. There's always new data that's coming in. And again, that storm is not even out of the Pacific yet. So thank you, KK. I appreciate that. Kim, that is correct. That is absolutely 100%. But here's the thing. I think the science and it's what makes, Paul, hold that thought. I'm going to get back to your question. It's an excellent question. I'll show you, but I want to finish my thought, with what Kim said about not getting excited this far out. I think the science has come a long way. And I've been doing this for almost 20 years. And even in 20 years, the accuracy that we can actually predict an event that a storm has not even formed, whether it be hurricanes, blizzards, tornadoes, is it going to be perfect? No, you're trying to predict the future, but the fact that we can even do it is amazing to me. And I think with the advent of AI that you could work into some of these models and stuff, I mean, sky's the limit, right? I don't think it'll ever be perfect, but the fact that we can even give you guys a heads up several days in advance of that, we think, oh, this might be a minor inconvenience. This could be a major inconvenience. This could be a big whopper, that kind of thing is pretty wild. And it makes the job fun, right? But I enjoy the challenge too. All right, Paul, is this based on the American model? Do the other models vary significantly? Paul, excellent question. And the answer is sometimes. This forecast was kind of a combination of both. I will tell you this, Paul, that I lean more toward in winter weather events. I lean more toward the European model. Okay, let me show you the differences. So as of late, the European model, let me back it up. This is Sunday at 7 a.m., 10 a.m., 1 p.m. Again, this is still Sunday, 4 p.m., 7 p.m., 10 p.m., 1 a.m., okay, Monday, 4 a.m., 7 a.m., which would be we're getting on the tail end of things, okay? So let me go to where we'd be kind of in the heart of this storm. This is 1 a.m. Monday. Again, this is the European model, Paul. Now, let me flip to the American model. I know look carefully. Let me do it again. European, American GFS. Do you notice the swing there? And I know you're like, well, I mean, look, it's still pretty nasty precip, but it's a huge difference especially here in Indy, right? Where my mouse pointer is. That's showing sleet and maybe some freezing rain. But also a really heavy thump of snow because your heaviest snow is going to be right on that transition line. But the European has shifted way south, which means lighter snow. And that's been the trend with the European. All right. Now, it does have a decent thump. I still, if this were to hold true, you're still getting 3, 4, 5 inches of snow. You are no longer, though, at this point, talking double-digit snow numbers. If the European holds together. Now, so I know you asked about, do they differ or vary significantly? Is that significant? On the global scale of things, no. But in a storm like this, and I want to stress this, for those of you that nerd out, I know I've been ranting and talking a while, and I probably have bored a lot of you, but this is why I do the Facebook Lives, because I can just I can go on my soapbox and I can nerd out a little bit because I can't do that on TV. In a storm like this, 20 miles makes all the difference. If this center of circulation were 20 miles north and 20 miles south, if they're 20 miles north and 20 miles south, it could mean a huge difference between a ton of snow or not much. Can you show us the Marcus Bailey model? No, I was told that I had no career in modeling, Austin. Thank you. Can I source these charts on weather? Hang on one moment, please. I see it, Christopher. What, I'm not sure what you were looking for, brother. What other questions do we have? Appreciate you guys, just the insights and stuff. Tommy, waiting on something awesome. Nothing on the north side of India, not like the blizzard of 70. Tommy, I'm convinced. I don't know if we will ever see something like that. That was a extremely rare event. Christopher, you can look at some of the models on weather.gov. So, basically, I I'm showing you what you could look at. So the website that I just showed you here is Weatherbell. It's no different. It's a cleaner user interface than if you went to the government website, essentially. You pay a subscription because European data is not free. And so that's a big reason why I have the subscription to Weatherbell. But I mean, GFS, you literally could, what I just showed you here, it may not look as clean or as pretty as this does, but all of that information there is on weather.gov that you could. Well, and Kim, to that point, yes, 20 to 30 miles makes a difference. To that point, I don't know if you were on early enough when I mentioned this, because this is where I kind of went on my rant about how silly it is for, the social media hype that, what is today? Today's Friday. That on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, that people were throwing out, these ridiculously high snowfall maps, and it was a week out. And to your point, and I know that's what you were trying to say here, Kim, but we haven't even gotten on board of, there's two models, well, there's several models, but two that I'll look at starting as early as later tonight, but then certainly all day tomorrow. And those are the short run models of the HRRR, okay, the high resolution rapid refresh, which runs every hour and goes out 18 hours, except for 4 different time frames. The 0, the 6, the 12, and the 18 go out 48 hours, but not great in the long range. And then you have the high resolution North American model, the NAM. And then you also have just the 12K NAM, which that goes out 84 hours. So we're not seeing the entirety of this storm in those short-term models that do a really good job, because that usually means that the storm is on land, you're getting some sampling, all that stuff. So yeah. So again, I know that's me getting on my soapbox. I'm probably boring some people. I appreciate you guys letting me kind of do that though, because it is like my, this is the, I enjoy doing this. I like jumping on board. What I like to do though, and I know, Kim, I keep coming back to you, but you're saying things I agree with, and then reminding me that I have things and points that I have to prove. Going back to the models. So when you're still in kind of the long term here, I like looking at what's called ensembles. These are several runs, okay? If somebody were, let's give an example. If somebody were on social media and they, earlier this week, because I know it existed, posted that we are going to get 18 inches of snow, okay? I'm not saying that's what we're getting. I'm just using it as an example. That was only from one model run, probably the GFS, okay? But there are ensembles of these GFSs that takes in tons of different mathematical equations and algorithms and all this stuff, okay? And then what you can do is you can average those out. There's the ensemble runs. So, for example, this is the European, and if you watched yesterday, well, let me go to yesterday's 12Z. Look at the difference. What I'm showing right now is the probability of, let me scroll down, the probability of 6 inches or more of snowfall. Can you guys see that key at the bottom? The red is 90%, the orange, the dark orange is 80%. This is the most recent run. This has basically the metro area at a 20% chance, not very high. But look where it was yesterday. And this is how much things can change. Same model, but just more recent run, because the storm is getting closer. It's getting better information. So right along I-70, and this was where our thinking was at. I mean, it's got at an 80% chance around the metro area of 6 inches or more. That was yesterday at this time. Now, much farther south. Now, saying that, look at the GFS. GFS is a little bit north. It's got 80% just south of Indianapolis, and Indy is about 50-50 chance for 6 inches of snow or more. Okay? But if you go back to yesterday's runs, Look how much higher a probability it was. So things evolve, things change. Okay? Now, in saying that, the trend has been to shift south. Will it continue to shift south, or will it stop and start to kind of, correct itself a little bit? Has it overcorrected a little bit? Those are the answers that we have to answer between, the questions that we have to answer between now and tomorrow, next 24 hours, essentially. Okay? So I know I kind of went a million different routes here, but I also want to be transparent with you guys, because if anybody comes up here, and like I said, they could be the best meteorologist in the world. I am definitely not. But if anybody comes up there and says, I know exactly how this is going to play out, we've seen blah, 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 they're lying. They just are. There's too many variables and question marks to be certain. But what I can tell you is I do think that, look, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night is going to be difficult travel. Whether we only get 2 or 3 inches or we get slammed and we get 8+ inches of snow, which, by the way, in Indy, I think both are still very much in play. Okay? I'm not ruling either one out. But I think it was important for me to jump on here and explain, because I think it's so easy to get lost, and especially for those of you that either worry or you get excited. We haven't had a big snow in a long time. Those of you that get geeked up for this kind of stuff, I think it's good for me to be, it's good for all of us to be transparent on how the forecast process works. We don't get the time to do that on TV. I get 3 minutes and I don't get to use half the stuff that I'd love to be able to use on TV to explain how I got to a certain thought process. So that's why I love the Facebook Lives. I know it probably bores some people. I know the numbers are going down a little bit, and that's fine. I think people wanted to know what we're thinking. I can't just, I don't want to come out here and be like, this is how it's going to be. And then if I do another Facebook Live tonight, it could be completely different. You know what I mean? It could have this system going south of the Ohio River and we don't get anything. I don't think that's going to happen, but you get my point. So, okay. Let's see. I'll go back. Oh, thank you, Braden. I appreciate that. Well, here's the thing, Michael. And again, I'm not dogging on the Weather Channel, okay? But here's the Weather Channel for those local, for whether, and I don't know if it was an app. I don't know if it was, even if it's like the local on the 8s thing, okay? That's all computer generated. So it is seeing that trend southward. And maybe they have some algorithms too, and there might be some sort of human element. I'm not going to pretend I know everything about the Weather Channel. I do know that they have to forecast for the entire country and many other countries at that. And so they don't have a body for each and every place. They just don't. So a lot of that is just computer generated. Okay. If the models fluctuate back, you'll likely see that number increase. So again, I'm not trying to dog on the Weather Channel here. I'm not trying to, okay, application. So, and listen, it's not just the Weather Channel. I mean, like, I got an iPhone, the stock weather app. There's no human element to it. So it is going to just strictly take what a computer is saying. And here's the thing. I have no idea what they're looking at in terms of, is it the GFS? Is it the year? I don't know. I don't get that inside information. I know with our app, like the Storm Track 8 weather app, I can put my own input into a point. So around Indianapolis. When you start getting outside of Indy, I don't have the access to be able to kind of hit up like say Muncie or Marion or Bloomington or Columbus. So what it does is it kind of combos my forecast and combines it with just computer generated forecasts. Okay. Hey, Brian, good to see you, man. Robbie, thanks for checking in from the fine town of Alexandria. Good to have you. Appreciate all the likes and shares, gang. I'll stick around for a little bit. I don't have a ton going on. It is Friday, and we're going to just chill, I think. Got to take one of the kiddos to practice. And I think I believe I'm on Hammer and Nigel at 4 p.m. briefly, kind of talk about this. Phil, yes, winds will ramp up. I don't think it's going to be like crazy, ridiculous, but it's going to be enough to whip around some snow, blowing, drifting, low visibility kind of thing. That would be kind of late Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, Monday morning. I think gusts will be like 35 miles per hour, and they'll likely be coming out of northeast, north most of the time. So, yes, good question. Good question. Anybody else? And I'll try to post because I do plan on probably doing a few lives. I don't know how many. A lot of it's going to depend on if we get significant changes. Hope we won't have a lot in Arcadia. Well, Teresa, the ice, and I think right now, excuse me, the ice threat is mainly in the southern third of the state. And that trend is actually going south. And that's an important point because, I mean, obviously snow is going to get a lot of love, but my goodness, I want none of the ice. Ice is terrible. Ice is terrible to travel in. Ice knocks out power. It takes down trees. It does a lot of just infrastructure damage. So, yeah. Susan, start to finish, Sunday morning is when the snow looks like it's going to start. I think it ramps up in intensity Sunday afternoon and then probably doesn't wind down until at some point Monday morning. Now, whether that's going to be before daybreak or not, I'm still a little on the fence about that. But I definitely think Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, Sunday overnight is going to be prime time for accumulation, okay? Susan, no. But I do remember, yeah, that is right. I forgot that. 1/5/2005. So Susan, funny story. That was my senior year at Ball State and I grew up in Muncie. So I lived off campus, but my mom still lives in Muncie. So, I remember that well. I worked at WLBC. And that was like the only way to get information, basically. Because our power was out for 4 or 5 days at least. No, I don't think it's gonna be like that, Susan. Not up by your way. So, Cindy, how often the models update? So it depends on what model, but most of them, and the ones that I'm continuing to look at now, 4 times a day. So the GFS and the which is the American model and the European model update 4 times a day. It just recently updated. Let's see what time. 12:15. So the next one will initiate at 4:30. It'll be done by around 6:15. That's the new GFS. And the new European will be, I think it's a little bit before that. To double check. I used to have all this memorized because we had to for classes. Maybe it's 7 o'clock tonight Eastern. So There's also some other models that we look at, like the Canadian. Canadian doesn't do very well on it. I'll look just for fun, but it hasn't been super useful. The other thing is too, a lot of like the new runs, like the GFS new run that's going to be coming down at 6:15, isn't what's called doesn't have all the data we would desire. Okay, NAM is coming in now. That's right. And then you're gonna have to wait, like, so the NAM should be completely done probably in the next half hour or so. That goes out 84 hours. So that's one of the short models that we've been waiting on to get fully on board to be able to see the entire event. And then you're going to start tomorrow, you're going to start getting some of the more high resolution models coming in. The 3K model, which is the North American model, but it's got higher res. The HRRR, which updates hourly. Again, that goes out 18. So that's not going to be super beneficial until probably Sunday morning, really. But yeah. Tanisha, I mean, I still have Indy kind of in the 5 to 10 range, but again, it's not set in stone. Okay. But I think it's important to note we're going to get some snow. We're going to get some snow in the metro area Sunday afternoon, Sunday night for sure. Troy, could happen. The snow could start flying around as early as 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning. I think the heavier stuff's going to be more so in the afternoon. So, just out of curiosity, I'll stick around here for a few more minutes just to hang out with you guys. So I am looking at the new NAM. I mean, isn't it already declared a sellout? So the NAM has started. I don't have much data coming in yet. Another thing that's important with the new models that are coming in, especially these new runs, and I think I was getting ready to say it and then I got sidetracked, is these weather models that we look at, they do a couple things. They take into, account, first off, what's actually happening. But these later afternoons, so there's 4 runs of some of the main models, right? 0Z, so they do it by Zulu time. 0Z, 6Z, 12Z, 18Z. What's important to note is the 6Z and the 18Z don't take in all of the current information that is actually happening. So I don't really like to use those as a gauge, especially when you're talking snow accumulation and that kind of stuff. It doesn't take in balloon soundings and all these other things. So really the next good model runs won't be happening until closer to midnight tonight. So that's just that's the waiting game that we as meteorologists have to kind of play. Ooh, which will be the higher total, inches of snow or points scored by the Colts? That is an excellent question. I'm going to think about that. Susan, can I get notifications that I'm on? I'm sure you can. Any of you that are like Facebook gurus, I'm pretty sure you can do that. Let me see here. Hang on. I'm going on Facebook right now. So if I search me, it sounds weird. It's cured ham, I believe, so you should be okay. Marcus Bailey, weather. So if you want to get so if you go up to if you got to my page, here, let's do this. I think I can share this. There you go. It's not the whole page, but you see this right there? I think that little following bell right there, you can then get notifications. Scroll down, and then you've got notifications there. And so if you want to be notified when I go live, you could just click that and then update it. And then you're good. Okay? Okay, so hopefully, Susan, that makes sense to you. Let me know if I can help you with that anymore. So again, the difference is, again, this was my forecast. What you're looking at now on your screen, that's my forecast, and I made that about 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so that didn't factor in the most recent model runs that we just saw. The Weather Service updated their forecast, and it did kind of put some input with the new model trends going south. I mean, it still has Indy at like 5 to 10, 5 to 11, so close to what I have. It does take kind of like Kokomo out of the larger numbers for the most. I mean, they're still pretty close. There's different ranges here, but they're not too far off. Okay. So appreciate all the likes and the follows. Checking out the Weather Service's new info pack that just came out. Let me show this here. This might be a good thing to show. Do they have this on their webpage, maybe? Stand by. 1 second, gang. Hang on. Sorry, I'm like thinking out loud here, but I wanted to show you guys some stuff real quick. Weather Service always puts out some really good graphics. Those men and women that work out there are awesome. And I know some people kind of like try to look at it like it's Georgie, here's the thing, man. It's a wound up system, Georgie. All right, and there's gonna be. I mean, it's really twisting its way into the Midwest. All right, spun up. It's gonna whip up those winds. All right, let me show you, guys and gals. What was I just gonna show? Darn it. Well, they don't have all of their goods. They had some really good graphics, and they haven't updated it yet. Shoot. That's a bummer. Anyway. What was I gonna? I don't know if I can show this on my email or not. Let me try. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. I can show this. All right, so let me go back. Go back. So those of you that were asking like timeline, I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit. Do it on the fly. We'll do it live. Okay. So I know you can't see the entire thing. My apologies. Can I fix that there? Hey, all right. So there's the timeline. So snow begins Sunday morning, and then you notice like Sunday PM, moderate. Sunday night, we're in the major stage, which, what does that mean? Heaviest snow. Monday morning, Monday afternoon, I think is still moderate snow. And then you've got just the cold that's going to come in Monday night and Tuesday morning. So that just kind of gives you the good old timeline of what we're looking at there in terms of when we're going to see everything, okay? Hopefully that made sense. I know a lot of you are asking, you know, so there you go. 3 o'clock. I think I've been on for almost like an hour now. Anybody else have any questions? Like I said, I may do another one tonight. We'll see. Hey, Sheila. And Rhonda. Awesome. All right. Yeah, I've been almost going for an hour here. I do stream on YouTube as well. I did today anyway. If I'm from home. Nancy, thank you for the question. And the answer is not Um, not 100% confident. Okay. Not 100% confident. It's going to change a little bit probably between now and Saturday night. So, will the snow be a heavy wet snow or a more drier snow? I think initially it'll be a heavy wet snow, Hudson. Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, and then eventually Monday on the back end of the storm, excuse me, and colder air comes in, it will dry the snow out, dry it out. And so that will make it more of a powdery snow. So it's going to be both. Is the low end confident? Yeah. You know, part of me, just from what I've seen in the trends, may want to go down maybe 1 or 2. I think 3 is like, feel pretty good about that in Indianapolis for sure. I still feel pretty good about 5. I need to see a little bit more information just from where the trends are at, honestly. So, I also think that, you know, the high end is within reach. It's not out of question. I just think that that trend is going south. Okay. Bob, yes, but again, with a caveat, I mean, I can show you the Weather Service version. The Marion and the Weather Service version is actually a little bit closer to probably like 2 to 6. Hudson will only sleep, make it up toward the city. Possibly. Don't want to rule it out, Hudson. Possibly. And that is one of the questions that we have to kind of answer right now is how far north is the sleet and the freezing rain going to make it, right? Because it is a fine line from freezing rain. And if you get freezing rain and sleet, it's going to lower your snow totals. But if you're right on the northern edge of that freezing rain, it's all snow. It is a lot of snow. That's where you're going to get the big numbers, where it's all snow and it's just north of that freezing rain line. So that's what makes, one of the things, makes this forecast difficult. Okay? Man, I can't believe that some of you have been sticking around for an hour. I can't be that entertaining. There's still a lot of you in here. I appreciate that. I think my Facebook is like mega delayed. Oh my goodness, yes. It's super delayed. 2 gallons of milk or 3. Depends on how much milk you're drinking. I can't, oh, what's up? I see some of you in the YouTube chat. I haven't been checking that as much. I apologize. But I see some of you checking it out. Those of you, some of us don't have real, I mean, I don't consider that I have, I don't consider that I have a real job either. So I assume you think we will have I sure hope so, Hudson. You know, not a guarantee. Again, a lot of it is, will I have a gut feeling? Yes. Will that be 100% accurate? Probably not. What I like to see when you get close to an event is consistency with the model runs. Okay? That several of these runs are doing the same thing, and that the different models that I'm looking at are kind of coming into agreement with each other. We're not there yet. I think a lot of people, I mean, listen. Susan, I'm with you. I don't know if I get to enjoy big snows as much anymore because of my job. But I mean, it is my job. I get paid for it, and that's pretty fun. So And yes, and Aaron just made the point too. Big time snows on Sunday are a little bit more manageable, right? Like it's not as big of a deal. So, hey Ryan, I see you on YouTube. Yeah, I got a few of you on there. Feel free to subscribe. I'm trying to get the YouTube channel going. I know it's what all the cool kids do. So, Susan, I made the mistake of going to Costco yesterday, and as a meteorologist, I should have known better. And I was said, why is it so stinking busy? Both in the store and at the gas station. And then it took me forever to figure out, like, oh yeah, maybe it's because of what I have been talking about. This chat has gone downhill in a hurry. Monday morning travel on roadways be very dicey. We see 2 inches of snow. Can we do the roads? What can 5 or 6 do? We're EMS. Oh yeah. I mean, listen, Phil. Here's my hope, Phil, is that, and I hope to maybe have a clearer understanding about how quickly this thing will move out. But look, if we saw the snow hanging around, even if it's light, Monday morning is going to be awful. All right. If it's still snowing at a decent, if it's still decent snowing by Monday morning, it's going to be a terrible commute, even if you're only getting an inch or two. My hope is that the heaviest snow is going to be done by the overnight hours before the morning drive. So then plow drivers have a chance to kind of get to work, clear the roads, and not fighting a losing battle. I mean, it's already going to be windy too, so that's going to add to the problems. So yeah. We'll see. I mean, if these numbers all hold true that I'm showing you that the Weather Service is putting out, even the numbers that I forecasted, 5 inches is going to be difficult. That's tough. Anything higher, that's going to be worse. So, yes, I would expect that Monday's going to be tough. I'm trying to be optimistic, but, Mother Nature doesn't like to listen to my optimism, so. Scott, the snow's going to begin Sunday morning, fairly light, and then it will pick up in intensity by Sunday evening. Approximate accumulation around 5 o'clock. If I had to guess from what I've looked at now, at least a couple of inches, maybe a little bit more, depending. I don't think like the brunt of it is going to be through, but. Well, and I think, Brian, is it 6 inches or is it more that subcontractors get brought in? I know that's only Indy specific. I know that's a number, and it's been a while. Well, actually, I think they may have hit that during the All-Star game last year or that weekend. Was that Friday night? I don't remember the number. I remember mentioning it several times on air. There is a hard number that the city will then reach out to subcontractors to come and help plow streets. I don't think it's 6. It may be like 7 or 8. I don't remember. Anyway. Oh, okay, so it is 6. Okay. That makes sense then. I got what you're saying. Is it going to be bad in Castleton area? I mean, listen, it's going to be tough traveling, and that's what I want to stress. Have we seen bigger snows? Probably, yeah. I mean, but this could be a good thump, so just use caution. Because here's the thing. All of us are the best drivers, right? Like I'm the best driver, you're the best driver, but it's that yoo-hoo that's next to you that's not the best driver, right? You're always welcome to my house, Scotty. Listen, I probably won't be home though. Because I'm probably going to have to leave a lot earlier on Sunday. I commute from Cloverdale to Brownsburg for work. I don't plan on going Monday. Well, listen, everybody's got to make their own decision. That's I get that, you know. At the end of the day, you got to make your own decision. And just to what the point I was making, it's like we could all be the world's best drivers, but it's the unknowns that are out there. It's the yahoos that, you know, think they can drive 60 miles per hour when it's snowing like, you know, gangbusters. So, yeah, everybody just use good judgment. And if you don't need to go out Sunday, just stick around at home. Probably be a good, well, until it starts getting windy, it'll probably be a fun snow for the kiddos to play in a little bit. So, all right, guys, I've been in here for like an hour. I gotta get, one of my kiddos has to go to practice, so I gotta get her ready to go. I'll be on Hammer and Nigel at 4:00 with an update. And I feel that pain. What was I gonna say? I don't know if I'll do another one. I probably won't do one. If I do another live, it's going to be really late tonight because I don't see a point of doing one around dinner time. The 18Z stuff is thanks for the time today. This has been snow enlightening for me. Thank you, Braden. Keegan's going to have lots of French toast, as will many. Apparently, everybody at Costco that I was there yesterday waiting in a long line. Enjoy your French toast. Anyway, if I do a Facebook Live, it probably won't be until late tonight. Otherwise, we'll do probably a couple tomorrow for sure, okay? And then maybe even Sunday morning, and certainly during the event. Some of it will depend on my schedule. I'll try to be open about that for those of you that are kind of waiting on that information. So, okay. All right. Thank you guys. You rock. I appreciate the likes, the shares, the comedy is always appreciated. All right. So, we will talk to you. How far in advance do you have to order the weather? It's a good question. I've been waiting for a long time in ordering golf weather, and here we are. So, thank you, Phil. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. We'll update the socials. Ashley's in tonight. Make sure you follow along her forecast. Her and Steven, they'll be in. Ryan Morse will be in tomorrow morning. He geeks out over this stuff. Follow him. He's all over it. He wants a big snow. So he's super excited about it. So make sure you're following along with him. And again, I'll let you know when I jump back on for some Facebook Lives coming up here over the weekend. All right? Bye, guys. Thank you. God bless. We'll talk soon.